Alright, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the Mavic 3, all the pros, all the cons, everything you need to know. I've been flying this drone for 2 weeks now, week and a half, 2 weeks now. Got her right here, looking as beautiful as ever. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of pros. I think the pros outweigh the cons. I'm going to talk about everything. So just to get started, I've been flying drones for about 5 years now. Started with like a little toy drone, moved my way up to the Mavic 1 right away. Like a week after flying the toy drone, I bought like $1,000 drone. Flew that for 3 years, and then had the Mavic 2 for the last year and a half. So this is my third Mavic. These are a couple things I've just been noticing, picking up on. I'm an amateur pilot, I'd consider myself. So yeah, a couple things right out of the gate. I just want to say everything feels great. Obviously, you guys can look up all the specs. The video quality, the photo quality, all phenomenal, just amazing. In my opinion, blows the Mavic 2 Pro away. A couple control things right out of the gate. It does stop and start on a dime. I flicked it into sport mode for the first time, I think flight number 2. Got it up to almost 48 miles per hour in a heartbeat. A little difference on if you release your fingers from the joystick, it will abruptly stop. So an issue with that, I've heard some people say, they're trying to get some smooth footage, this and that. Might be an issue for them. For me, I haven't found that to be a big deal. I've still gotten very smooth video. You just have to be aware of that. It's actually a good thing. If you want the drone to stop, it's going to stop. I hope the motors hold up because of this over, hopefully years and years, maybe 3 years. But yeah, that's the first point. It's a little jerky, a little more abrupt. If you take your fingers off the joystick of the Mavic 2, it kind of eases into a stop a little bit. This, you're stopping. So that was the first thing out of the gate. I was like, okay, this is different. Another interesting thing, I'll show the clip right here, but basically I found that the yaw and the gimbal was very smooth, very easy to use. The shot right here I'm going to show you, I was taking it around a city like this, rotating the drone and the gimbal at the same time, had no issues at all. I've heard some people on the Mavic 2, they use their finger across the phone screen to tilt the gimbal. I've never done that. I freestyled everything. So to me, right out of the gate, seemed really easy to pan, up and down, side to side. So yeah, I thought everything was easy as far as the gimbal control right out of the gate. The yaw seemed smooth. So that all seemed really good. Third point is battery life. So I plan on doing some different tests. I'm not going to get too into that, but I do want to time the battery life myself. I think it would be kind of fun. Maybe time it in like a flight, like maybe all sport mode, maybe all cine mode, maybe just hovering. Probably not hovering actually, because who just hovers all day? It's kind of a pointless test. But anyway, I'm going to run some tests. I have some fun ideas. I'm going to get out there in an open area, maybe a nice court, have an idea where to go, run all kinds of stuff for you guys. But back to the battery life. It is amazing. It's quite noticeable. The Mavic 2, you might fly 20, 25 minutes, starts beeping. I know a lot of people come back. I usually stay out there until it starts coming down on me. But the 3 is just, the battery life is a game changer. I plan on getting one more battery, mostly for road trips, but honestly, I don't think you need more than 2 batteries with this drone, because the batteries are charging very quickly too. That's another video I'm going to do. I'm going to time to see how long it takes for the battery to charge. I think it'd be kind of fun. But anyway, so the battery life is amazing. I would say 40 minutes easy. I did a whole off-road Jeep video the other day. I'm going to roll some clips right now of that. Shot this in 4K 50 frames, so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. We were out there for an hour. I took the drone off maybe 10 minutes into the drive and no issues. It had life the whole time. So loving the battery life. Can't say enough about that. So yeah, let's see what's next. I've heard some mixed reviews on the new app. I personally don't mind it. I have a couple issues, small issues. For example, the one still has the GPS in the bottom left corner. To me, it seems a little off. I think the Mavic 2 Pro had a really good system showing you exactly where you were, where you needed to get, how to get home, stuff like that. But the GPS system and screen was very readable, very easy. This one seems a little blown out. Sometimes my drone is off the screen. If I have it in like the medium-sized one, you can make it full screen, super small, medium. And I kind of have an issue with that. I really enjoy watching that GPS screen, when I'm flying, and sometimes I have to click out and make it the full screen to see what's going on. So I don't know if that's kind of a technical issue, what's going on there, but I think they kind of mess that up a little bit. Another thing too with the app, I think it's very easy I was super apprehensive at first. I missed my scroll wheel on the controller. As you can see, that only has the one scroll wheel here. That is for the gimbal yaw. I really missed my exposure drone wheel or scroll wheel, but after a week and a half of flying, don't even think about it anymore. Have it dialed in to where this is what I do for photos, especially at sunset. I focus on the sky. The foreground is obviously much darker, but not too bad. So I find a good happy medium, but the key for me is focusing on the sky. The one issue I'm having though is when you're focused on the sky and then you do anything else, your whole thing, you have to do it over again. So you have to restart, you have to get your exposure dialed in. There's a scroll wheel on the screen for that. And so I find myself have my frame set up exactly how I want. Maybe I want to take a couple shots from there, and it gets reset quite frequently. I never had that issue with the 2. Once everything was set, it was set in stone. You could snap pictures in that same area, same lighting. This, I'm going back to the exposure. I'm switching up my settings a little more. I have to refocus on the sky. So I think once I get more and more used to the new app and everything that goes along with it, I don't think this will be an issue. But for the first week and a half, I've noticed that has been a problem. All right, one more pro. You don't need to buy a car charger. I had the 4-port car charger for the Mavic 2 Pro. This just takes, let's see if I have one. I actually have my phone into it right here. Just takes the standard C charger right into the back of the drone. I actually haven't taken the battery out once. There's no need to. Kind of nice. Same thing with the controller. Same cord for the controller, just the C charger. So that's super nice. Have those laying around. I have Android, so I have those laying around. Can charge everything very easily, especially in the car. I have to look back and see on the Mavic 2 controller how much was showing about the connection bars. I'm going to get into the cons a little bit, but I have noticed that as those bars drop, stop flying in that direction, come back, raise it a little bit. Still dialing that in a little bit, but I think the connection bars are pretty accurate. They might not be as strong as I want them to be, but I think it's good. Like I said, I got to look back at the Mavic 2 Pro. I can't envision it right now. Anyway, the connection, we'll get to that. A little bit more on just the raw photos coming out of the drone. The dynamic range is truly amazing. I'm actually editing my shots less, putting less saturation into them, and they have more colors, more realistic color. So yeah, the editing process has been a lot easier. I'm sure you guys like that new Lightroom mobile where you can do the sky in the foreground. I know I've been using that a little bit. But yeah, I've noticed a lot in post from the Mavic 2 Pro shots to the Mavic 3. Mavic 3 needs a lot less work. It has much more detail coming out of the drone straight to the computer. So I've flown in a lot of very similar areas, the exact same locations with the Mavic 2 and the Mavic 3. To me, one thing that jumps off is the Mavic 3. If you're shooting a mountain range, say the mountain range is 2 miles away from you, maybe you're flying up a couple thousand feet away. Looking at the mountain range, I have noticed that it looks much more real, more detail, more depth in those mountains. Whereas the Mavic 2 Pro has some good detail in there, but to me, the mountains always have looked flat. And that kind of just jumped off. Like I said, I've shot the same exact locations for years now. And then I shot them again this week, and it's pretty noticeable. I think there's a lot more detail in the mountains and stuff that's further away in the background really shows up a lot better. So that's definitely a huge plus. And another thing I've noticed is a lot less noise. I have a little noise in the background of this video. I got to get that figured out. But for the drone shots, and pretty much every photographer on Instagram, I know a lot of the top guys do a really nice job smoothing out their sky. But the skies get pixelated. Make sure you zoom in on your pictures, adjust that noise in Lightroom. It'll help you a lot. But yeah, it needs very little noise reduction in the sky, no matter what the sky is. So I noticed that right off the bat. I mean, it's night and day how much noise is in the sky compared to the 3. Compare the 3 to the 2. And obviously to the 1 as well. Alright, so I'm kind of just spitballing right now. I should have organized this a little bit better, but those are like the main pros. I really have no intentions of returning the drone. I've heard a lot of people are. In my personal opinion, I think people were just expecting the Mavic 2 Pro with a better camera, basically. Better photos, better video. I think they definitely got the better photos, better video, but it's a completely different drone from the 2. I think it's better in a lot of ways. But yeah, that kind of leads me to my next point is I want to talk about some of the cons. So this is where it gets interesting. I have some major complaints. This is one of them. It fits the hands nice. It fits my hands really good, easy to fly. But if you're paying $2,200 minimum for a drone, I think they should have done a better job. Put in maybe a screen on the controller. My idea, if I was working for DJI, I would put in some sort of GPS screen on the controller. I've lost connection. We're going to get into that. And with the Mavic 2 Pro, you can fly home once you lose connection. All the stats are on the controller. This drone, you lose connection, you press return to home, and you pray to the drone gods that it comes back. It's happened quite often the first week and a half of flying. Not going to lie about that. So let's just get into it. I have just the other morning, went out to shoot a sunrise, took off in a parking lot. There were some condos kind of by me, the direction that I flew over. Went up to a mountainside, kind of was flying around the mountainside a little bit, and I lost connection 5 times. So I take it a little higher, come towards me, regain connection, fly a little bit more, same thing would happen. I truly believe it's the controller. I think they mass produce these controllers. I know it's on some of their other drones, and I think it was a huge mistake. I have heard that if you upgrade the controller, your connection will be a lot better. So that's not something I want to do right now. Financially, it's crazy to spend another $1,200. But I have heard if you get the higher end packages or you upgrade the controller, your connection will be better. So hopefully they can figure something out. I think the connection is just a lot worse than the Mavic 2 Pro. After the first week of flying, I've disconnected almost every flight. I'll be honest. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes in open areas, I'll send it out pretty deep. We'll be good for a while, and then boom, just hits. So a little worrisome. I would say between that and no screen on the controller, those are my 2 biggest complaints, but I have some more. All right, I am back. Here's another one no one's talking about. It's not that big of a deal. To me, it's kind of annoying though. You must shoot in JPEG and RAW at the same time. What does that mean? You take a 5-shot AEB, it turns to 10. And when you're shuffling through 50 shots, moving them to your Dropbox, whatever it is, you have to go through and see, is this a DNG? Is this a JPEG? Then you combine the 5. And then you don't combine them yet, but you group them together, ship them off before you combine them. Super annoying. I don't know. Maybe I was just spoiled with the 2, but I don't really want to be shooting in JPEG. Seems completely unnecessary. Speaking of JPEG, I will do a video on the zoom. I think it's 28x. I already recorded the footage. It's amazing, okay? You can be a mile away from something and feel like you're right up on it. You guys have seen the videos. Quality sucks on it. If it was raw, it would be 1,000 times better. I'd probably use it. Don't really plan on using it. Seems like kind of a waste. But yeah, if they used that zoom and they had raw on it, that would have been a pro. Now it's a con. So, all right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I have like, 16 videos or something like that. I'm going to piece them together right now. Probably throw in a little footage here and there. But yeah, I just needed to get my thoughts out. I'm going to do a ton of videos on the Mavic 3. If you guys like the content, you like me, I don't know why you would, but make sure you hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Send it to your friends. These are just like my raw initial thoughts. I'm going to go into more detail. Do a ton of different tests. I think I'm going to do an edit video. I've had some people ask me, how do I edit my shots? Pretty simple, pretty boring. But hey, if you guys want to see it, let me know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.